Right?
Yeah.
Coach's Corner is for conversations that we have and mirroring things and hopefully getting our community to tap in so we can sit down. We might meet once a week, we might meet 3 times a week, but it's all about conversations that happen in space. I don't even know where my phone at right now. I'm just looking around. I don't know where it's at. But yeah, I don't know where it's at. But again, first and foremost,
What was we just
welcome
talking about?
everybody. Huh? Oh, you're good. Welcome everybody. We just gonna sit down. We're gonna start the conversation. Yeah, it's plain and simple. Ain't no reason to go over it.
Yeah.
So you want to say what you were saying and how this all came up?
Yeah, I was wondering how did I bring this up? I brought it up in context of having conversation around being treated a certain way by your appearance and differently. And you brought up a good point about it being there's always something that you can take responsibility for and how you're viewed or how you're taken by the people around you.
Yeah.
Which I thought was pretty good.
Yeah. So the conversation was, or the conversation started where you have someone in your life and they have, basically, let's say this person was talking about being treated differently due to, outer appearances, right? And how they relate to other people because of similar struggle, right? And I mentioned how it's a mindset thing, right? I mentioned how I didn't say injustices don't happen, but for the average person, it's mindset. There's so much that's limits people in general that it's about their mindset. And then Kayla brought up how until recently there was a stigma around that, especially regarding women. And that stigma is now showing up in our space because of the generation the stigma was from. So, look, if you're between the age of, let's say, 45 and 30, right, then you know and have seen certain standards of beauty. These standards of beauty have changed more recently, but before they were a little different. And the conversation came from that space, how things were setting up or how things were going, and again, what we mentioned. So we want to continue that conversation, maybe let it take a different route a little bit, or keep it on the same path. It's up to y'all. I already said what I said. I said what I said, and I'm answering.
Speaking on what you said, I think you drew a good point in speaking on the fact that your first impression is your first impression, but then the way you carry yourself or the way that you perceive yourself dictates how people treat you past that first impression. So there may be some apprehension in approaching you because they're not used to approaching someone who looks like you or someone who carries themselves the way that you do. They may have some preconceived notion of what that might be, but you viewing yourself authentically and presenting in that way changes that first perception, and they could be like, "Oh, you're the exception to the rule. That's fine, whatever." But I think that was a good point.
Yeah, perception versus reality is the conversation, right? What's actually happening and what you think is happening based on who you are, your experiences, everything else. We could tie that to so many different things. It could go to race, it could go to gender, it could go to different things you're trying to achieve. Let's say goals that you want to get, like recently, I'm actually listening to something right now, and they're talking about the mindset of people making change, but it had to do with nutrition and diet. This very well published person named Lane Norton was actually doing a entire setup about like the mindset, how the mindset is the problem, not the things, right? Like if you put two plates in front of people, a burger, fries, and all this other stuff, people know they shouldn't have as often, versus a very healthy plate, spinach, salmon, let's say some type of carb source. It could be white rice, it could be yellow rice. It doesn't matter which plate would be better. Is a very obvious question for the average person, right? It's not, you don't think the burgers and fries are better than the salmon for your overall health, right? Everyone knows that. But people will often make the choice of the bad plate based on what's happening to them and what their habits are around the things that happen to them, right? So what made that interesting in conversation was I have watched the individual that we spoke about make decisions that don't necessarily match the type of life they want in space with us. And then, you know, you have mentioned different things that have happened with said individual and how you can see that mindset being a part of their everyday life. I think everybody's like that. I don't think anybody's outside of that. Like they were explaining binge eating and depression, and you were talking about how most of the time it's like you don't even know the decisions you're making as you make them because they're so autopilot, right? So like me and my wife get into a large fight. One of the first thing I want to do is go eat something really terrible, instead of hurting someone or physically pushing myself was my go-to before I got into shape. I would just eat some bad stuff and then kind of move on. When I did start to work out, I noticed that I would use it as an outlet, but still in the negative context, right? And what made this so interesting in general wasn't necessarily that. It was more along the lines of, again, I'm saying it was an autopilot response, and how you can't necessarily remove that, how you can only be mindful of it and make better decisions, right? Trying to think of what a good example is. So let's say, again, I always go get cookies, right? Simple solve for going to get the cookies and making that bad choice, because you know bad things are going to happen, right? You're going to be depressed, you're going to have anxiety. It's not necessarily feeling that, because a lot of people think they're going to not feel that. That's not what happens, right? Most of the time you feel it and then you make a choice. So it's like putting he said he had a client put a sticky note on the drawer, and it said, "Am I hungry or just depressed?" Right? And like those moments, like where you have to clock in with yourself and click out of autopilot, can be life-changing moments for the average person, right? And again, our conversation started in that space, but it's all about your mindset, which if most people realize, that's like my main thing I'm always talking about with the average person. Stop talking about what's going on or what you think is happening, and start talking about what you're going to do about it, right? And stuff like that. Want to weigh in?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's what's beautiful about the space is that we do work on mindset a lot here. Like, yeah, we're picking heavy stuff up, putting it down. But I think what is worked on most in space here and hopefully outside of space is changing mindset, you know, stacking better habits and creating the life that you want, because as soon as your mindset changes, everything else falls into place. You know, the people you hang around change, your venues that you hang out in change, and that's really how to make permanent, you know, lifestyle changes. You got to change all those things. Your life is going to look different than how it was before you made that mindset shift.
I have a lot to say. Stay with me here. You think about mindset can go a lot of different ways. It is the hardest thing that a lot of people struggle with, is getting their mindset and their mentality to stay a certain way when there's so much influence within the world to obviously change our mindset. Typically when something happens, we were talking about, kind of backtracking, but talking about why this individual felt that, you know, the way that she did, and you were saying there's events that happen and things in the past. So typically that's exactly that. There's an event that happens, and then there's our action to the event that happens to change our mindset. So it's all about like what we do from the event that's taken place to try and change how we go about everything. You know, we can sit there and have a negative mindset on things and play the quote unquote victim on things, or we can somehow swing a positive note to it and be able to walk positively with that. But it's hard. It's hard to do.
Fair. You said you had so much to say. I was
I do.
I
There's
thought
a
you were
lot.
going to be so
Yeah, I
much
thought we-
longer
I
than
thought-
that.
There
I was
is.
waiting for like
There is more. There is more,
minute.
but I'm like, how do I tie this in without like sounding like I'm just kind of going in a rabbit hole here?
I think based off of what was said, I don't think anyone thought you were going into a rabbit hole. It actually all made sense. You should continue. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't
okay.
worry, we'll cut you off. This is just being honest. This is outer space. This is a brave
Continuing on.
space.
So typically there's 3 C's that I think that most people don't think about. The 3 C's being challenge, change, and oh my gosh, see, now I can't think. See?
Challenge, change,
And
commitment. Coercion?
Nope.
I don't know what the last one is.
Consistency.
Oh,
I lost
fair.
it. I lost it.
It's all
There's
good.
3 C's.
It's
There's
all
3
good.
C's.
There's 3 C's I know
Three
about, but I
Cs.
got 2 for you. Yeah.
What?
Challenge.
Choice. That's the third
Challenge,
one.
change, choice.
Choice, challenge, and change. So the first one being choice. We have a choice that we can make ultimately every single day. That we're always faced with a choice at some point throughout the day. The challenge that is presented to us affects the choice that we make, and ultimately leaves us with the change. So if we put all 3 of those together, maybe you guys can tie that in there. I don't know how to put this out in words. I know you're making that face.
I mean, I'm sure he got something to say. I got something to say based off of it.
There was a point with this.
Yeah. So I'm about to flow on them. And then I lost it.
Just throw out
Give me
3
a
words.
second.
Start
3
with
battle
C's.
raps.
Time with Kayla. Where's the mind go all over?
Challenge, change, and what was the last one?
Choice.
Challenge, change, and choice.
I'd like to speak on choice.
Sure. Yeah, maybe we should like kind of walk that out a little bit.
Yeah. I'm gonna speak on choice because I hear that.
What
with-
order do they go in?
So it'd be choice, challenge, change.
That's the order. Okay. Choice, challenge, change.
I thought it was challenge.
I think
Challenge. The challenge. Okay, we could put it. Yeah, it could go in that order.
Challenge, choice, change?
Doesn't matter what order.
I'm pretty sure it does.
Because you're presented with a challenge, you have to make a choice
to make the change.
to make
All
a
right, so let's
change.
go-
You know.
So you want to speak on
doesn't
challenge?
even matter.
There are
What do you think it
three
is?
that
It
go in
doesn't
some
matter what you
order.
think it is. This is what it is. Oh no, tell me your perspective. It doesn't matter.
Challenge, change, choice. Let's talk about challenge first. Then I'll get into choice. Y'all, someone else take challenge.
Why does someone else have to take challenge? What is happening?
All right.
Y'all want to talk about it?
I'll talk about.
I told
it.
you,
I'll talk
rabbit
about-
hole.
I'll talk
We're
about
on a
the whole
rabbit
thing.
hole.
She said rabbit hole.
I'm
There you
gonna
go.
draw it into choice. I'm gonna
All right.
focus mostly on choice.
All right, go ahead.
So here, I got a bunch of clients, more than I've ever had, and a lot of the time I'm talking to clients, and there's this notion that comes up that they don't have a choice. You know, that there isn't a choice. I've
So
been
we just skip challenge.
huh?
We skip challenge.
When challenge comes up,
You were right in the choice. I was like, wait.
Rewind.
when challenge comes up with for clients, they feel like they only got one choice.
Oh,
right?
okay, all right. He did say that. All right,
All right,
fair.
so
I missed that part. That's fair.
So you never have one choice. I think that's one of the biggest lies that have come up is that you only have one choice, or the way that you're doing it is the only way that you can do it, the only way you can swing it. And the lie is it's never the case. You always have a choice, and it's too hard. You know, in your mind, you're like it's hard to make the change. That's the last one, right? It's hard.
Tying it together. There's the third.
It's hard to make the change, and until you're mad enough at your circumstance, mad enough at your situation, that you realize you have a swath of choices, it's gonna feel like you're stuck.
Yeah.
And it's like talking to other people,
Fair.
and realizing that when challenge comes up, you never have just one route, and you can take multiple routes, and some of those routes that you've blocked off in your mind, it's just because it's hard. You know, those are the hard choices that you have to make to really make change.
Yeah.
And we say it in here all the time, the change you want is on the other side of what you're not doing. And so I think we play this trick in our minds where we just get rid of the other choices and only leave one so that we don't have to like recognize that the change is possible.
Yeah.
It's just hard as hell. Yeah.
Not bad. Not bad. No? Nothing?
I didn't say that.
Nothing? I'm waiting.
Oh, I
I'm
know.
waiting to see if you have
You
anything.
already
back-
gave us the 3
it's
C's.
I was gonna.
backtracking
Okay,
again.
so I got to round it out. Am I rounding it out?
My
Do you
my
wanna do-
brain is literally all over the place today, so
I like how when she wants help, she bats her eyes. Help me.
help me.
All right. So, okay. Maybe they are in another order in general as far as like how it was presented to you. But if I had to think about them, that's how I would think about them. I would think about them about challenge, then choice, and then change. The reason I would say that is like I make what most people view as inflammatory statements all the time to challenge the notion of what they think, right? The other day, we were talking about something that is very serious that has to do with, like, let's say young girls being taken advantage of. And again, this was about women being taken advantage of. And my statement was, I said, well, if a woman comes to me and talks about that, and I said, I get how she doesn't want that to happen, but my conversation becomes, well, what are you wearing? Where are you going? What's happening around? What's happening to what about the situation? And woo, the tempers and situation flared up a little bit because it's this interesting thing that we do that Devin just talked about, where we say we have no control. To say you have no control, right? I love hearing, well, I shouldn't have to censor myself. It's like, to be safer, you make a choice that puts you in a safer position is a choice, right? You don't have to do that. You're right. You also don't have to go to that space. You also don't have to be by yourself. You also don't have to do certain things that put you in the situation where it's even a possibility. This is more the conversation than anything. So a therapist friend of mine said, that's the route I usually take, unless that person has direct trauma behind what the thing is, because then they're more about acknowledgement than solution, right? So interestingly enough, I just take the route, right? And I always hope that what we say and things that we share don't turn people away from space we're in. But that does explain to people that I will not mention that are no longer with us, because they had, let's say, things around that, and we shared the way we did. It became something where they became, let's say, offended. I don't have a better word for it. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to clients and their things they're trying to overcome, we're not trying to make you make the change. We're listening to what you're saying you want, knowing what solutions have either worked or things that we have looked up and have worked for other people or worked for ourselves, and we're sharing that information to give you a choice, right? Now the change comes from whether or not you apply the lesson, right? The challenges or whatever presents itself that gets you from the ideal version of you, whether it be a skinnier you, a stronger you, the choice comes in when you literally have a coach and the coach gives you a route, maybe more than one, to get to your goal. And then the change is found in your ability to manifest whatever the choice you've made is, right? I can't say I want to lose weight and then I go to lose weight. Coach tells me I need to track my calories, and then I decide I don't need to track my calories. I know better than the coach, right? And then all of a sudden your change is nothing. You get no change because you didn't make the choice that went with the change you wanted. Yeah, you can make change, but always the change doesn't go in the direction you want. That's why, the choice you make doesn't go in the change direction you want. So you have to take it the other way around. And again, that's all we do here. Anything we talk about, anything we set up or do for the clients at Space, Getting It Daily is about teaching you the habit of consistency towards the thing that you want until you actually see the change you want. I don't give a damn if you lose weight. I say that all the time, and people think I'm being funny, but I have the most successful clients out of all of us. Why? Because I will say, I don't care if you lose weight, but this is what it looks like. Right? And then they'll say whatever they want to say. And then my response is, I get that. I get that you think that you're a special human being, but this is how it works. Right? I don't give a damn how special you are to your grandmama. That's not my concern. That's not what I'm asking you. Respectfully, your grandmama might be wrong on this one, right? Because research says this way. Sure, you are a special kid and you could eat whatever you want when you were little. You are not a kid anymore. You are an adult now. You have to make decisions that match. Yes, your metabolism isn't as high. We need to make decisions that match up for the things that we want, right? I have a lot of passion behind that because it's why I opened this space the way I did. It's part of why my leadership is different and why people respect me, because I'll let you make mistakes. Just don't come to me and ask for your mistakes to be my problem, because I will not agree, right? Because your choices are your choices. Whatever change comes from those choices, they're yours. So that I don't think that's a bad route, the 3 C's. I just think it's important to know what route we take in order to help and facilitate change, right? Change is the outcome, right? It's the last part of the process. The challenges will always come, and you will always have to make a choice in said challenges. So it was less about, them being who they are and more about the choices they make when the challenge presents itself. And that until people grasp that the way it's supposed to be grabbed, and they're gonna stay victims. And victims, guess what? You stay getting screwed over. You stay not getting what you want. You stay in negative space. You won't be a victim, that's your business. I just choose not to do that. Fair? So hopefully, people who see us talk about stuff like this, as we sit and come up with different things and chat about different things, learn about your fucking self. Like, don't come in here telling me about how you different. I don't give a shit how you think you different. I really don't. And if this offends you, don't come here, right? The reason I say that is because I'm not here about offending anyone. I'm here about helping people change via what they want and what I know. If that doesn't work for you, stay the fuck away from my doors, right? And I say that with as much love in my heart as possible. That actually became part of our conversation. I said, I'm a dying breed, and that's sad. It's not that I'm this amazing individual human being. No, it's that there are plenty of men out there like myself who are being told to go one way or the other. Either you got to be simpy as hell, or you got to be the stone cold man with no emotions. There's no middle ground. Yet for some reason in our society, I am always hearing about middle grounds for women and fluctuation, but men don't have that. I hate it, right? So stuff like this is what like gets me out of bed in the morning, because I'm like, damn, we about to go in there and have a hard conversation because it's necessary, right? Somebody's gonna ask me about some shit that I don't want to do, right? And the common misconception I always hear, like, you only know this if you've talked to me in this realm. People think I love to work out. I do not love to work out, right? Like, I don't, right? Yes, I own a space. Yes, I love the benefits. Yes, I love what comes with it, but I do not love getting up before everybody else and going outside and doing, like, going for a run. I don't like coming into the facility before the doors are open and it's cold as hell in here and getting things started. I don't enjoy that stuff. I love what comes from it, but I do not enjoy it. Again, my challenge is doing what I don't want to do. My choice is to do the thing I don't want to do. My change comes from the thing I didn't want to do. Is that not the process? And is that not what we say to all of our clients on a regular basis?
It's the process.
So
I think that's also the path to feeling happiness, feeling good about your life. It's like the intentional non-negotiables that you don't want to do,
fair.
and doing them consistently. You get shit done. You get to where you want to be.
Fair. The hard parts are what make us ourselves. Not a soft life is a very unfulfilling life.
Yeah.
Fair. I know a lot of people live in soft lives, but when I tell you they are miserable, and I don't care how much money you have, I don't care how much how many things you've done before that. I'm talking about the current, right? If you live a soft life, you're more than likely not very happy, especially for long periods of time. And even when we talk about, like, we talked about the whole people coming in with their issues, right? A lot of the times, it's always funny to watch who people gravitate to when they talk about their issues, right? Because if you come to me, I'm gonna say exactly a specific way of things. That, like, there's just, there's no qualms about it, right? It's not that I'm gonna lie, but I'm damn sure not about to be your fucking excuse board. We're not about to be pinning stuff to the board so you can feel better about yourself. I just don't. I'm sorry. I have too much going on in my life to be your board to post your shit on, right? I would rather have a conversation about how I can help you, right? I'm okay with having a conversation about helping you. But if that ain't the route, don't talk to me about it. I just look good. Yeah, you sad today. Cool. Keep it there. Don't talk to me about nothing else. Like, if that's what you want to do, because I don't want to have conversations that don't help you, right? Now, again, I will always, I've said this before, sit with people going through stuff. I will never leave you to deal with something by yourself. And I ain't calling nobody out in particular, but if you come in here talking about something, I didn't sleep well last night, and then you say, I'm just sad, that's not much of a conversation, right? Yes, I can sit with you, but if all you are is just sad, I don't know how to help you. I don't know where to go with that. So a lot of the times, I'm probably going to exhibit a little bit of being irritated by that, right? Because without you being honest, I can't even help, right? And I hate that. I hate that for you, for me, for the space, for your journey. I hate that so much. So being honest with us is a large way of how we help. I do love the 3 C's, and I think we should present those because that is really, really big. So if you are someone who is trying to figure out how to do this in a way that allows you to get what you want to get, there's a couple different things you can do. And I think we can end it on this note. Fair? First of all, challenge. If you realize that the challenge is going to happen, then you don't have to try to not make the challenge happen. Realize that no matter what you do, your challenge is going to come up. Fair? Second thing, and way more important, this is the part that people, I think, make the mistake of. It's the choice. Now, you have lived a life where certain things are going to be the choice you just want to make based on what you've had. The question I asked myself, and that's what all of that stuff comes back to, was, do I want to be the same person? Do I want the same things? Because if I do, then I'll make the same choices I've made before, right? If I don't want change, I can continue to make the same choice. But if I want the outcome to be different, then my choice has to be different. Agreed?
Agreed.
Now, go ahead. I was gonna finish, but
Go ahead. Finish off and I'll bounce it real quick.
And then the choice is usually, I need people to understand this because this is super important. The change comes from the choice, not from the challenge. It comes from the choice. If you understand that it comes from the choice, then you can change. If you don't realize it comes from the choice, you will continue to live in a state where you think the challenge is stopping you from making change. Put the 3 things in order for your own life.
Yeah, that was dope.
That was. That's why I
That
got
was dope
excited
at
for
the
a
end
minute.
there.
I was like, I like where he's going with this.
It's real dope.
On that note, have to be said, it was too good not to put in there. Getting a Daily is offering a challenge coming up. It's going to start on the 23rd of March.
Fair.
It's going to be a 30-day challenge. And this is really a time for most of us who come in, we don't know where to start. We don't know how to make a change. We don't know, necessarily, we have all these questions in our head, but we know we want something out of it. This is a perfect place for that. So your challenge is our Health is Wealth Challenge, where we're going to basically walk you through how to build some discipline, how to treat our body right, and what foods to intake throughout this process. So after that, you have a choice. You can accept the challenge or not. But are we really going to get those things that we want if we choose to not go all in with this challenge?
Sure.
And the change being all the amazing things that we have wanted, this is finally that place to start with that. This is going to be a good time for us to really see and build our foundation for our future. So had to throw that in there.
So it's so interesting, right? Because it's funny, you said it that way and I was like, nope. But at the same time, it made sense. It was just one of those, like, I saw it differently. But here's the beautiful part, right? The beautiful part is that even though we see it differently, what needed is still the same, right? Like when you said the challenge, I was like, they're already going through the challenge. Challenge is already happening. The choice is whether to join the challenge we have in house, right? Like that's how I thought about it when you said it. But again, the change is where it happens, right? And the Health is Wealth Challenge. Look, I can't say this enough. We make things accessible to our community. If you act like you ain't got the money to join this challenge, I'd be upset with you because you just don't see the value in it. It's not that you don't have the money, right? And I used to be like that. So easily, first of all, to all of our clients, we're making it very accessible, right? And then on the other side, for anyone who's outside of our space, for all that you're getting in order to help reach your goal, especially like, look how passionate we are about helping people change. Come on, man. Like, if you ain't willing to put a little bit of commitment, it's not on us, it's on your damn self. We're just giving you our time via that. And what we give in response to what it is, major key, right? So like for me, I'm just like, I don't understand why you would not, outside of not thinking it's possible for you. So that's why I presented the way I do.
And I think that a lot of people might not have the opportunity the way that we're doing it here, where the coaches join the challenge and do things with you.
Fair.
I'm excited because I'm going to be right there with you guys doing it all, holding accountability just as much as you guys. So it's a change for us as much as it is for you.
It's funny because I already eat this way like most of the time, but it will help you clean up some things in your diet, which is the whole point. The whole point is that what you're doing is not getting you where you want, and we're giving you another way to challenge yourself to make the choices to do so. So again, this is all on you.
If you're a client of mine and you've talked with me recently about nutrition and in regard, join the challenge. All right. Don't wait. Talk to me. Talk to Coach Linden, Coach Kayla. Reach out and get into this challenge before it starts. You are a client at GID, so there's no reason for you not to. If you talk to me about it, that means you're trying to make a change. If you don't join the challenge, you're making the choice not to actually get the results.
Fair. So easy, and this challenge is going to be dope for a lot of different reasons. If somebody asked, they asked recently, like, "Oh, I'm vegan, so can I join?" Yes. Like, it's a whole foods challenge.
Yep.
So all it is things that are natural, right? So you don't have to have a specific thing you follow. Like, we chose the whole foods diet on purpose because we understood that we have vegan, vegetarian, and clients who are
Covers
just
everything.
omnivores, right? They eat anything and everything under the sun, right? This is about making better choices. No, this is not your average, remove gluten challenge. Like, this is something that literally, if you can stick to this for 30 days and you don't see results, I would give you your money back if you stuck to it, though. That's the whole thing. If you stick to it and you do the work, I would happily give you your money back if it didn't work, because that means that we couldn't help you, right? So we hope that you all like this video. Share this video with some of your peoples, because again, we don't do this for fun. We do this to be helpful. And it just happens to be fun for us. So share away. If you have any questions, hit one of us up. We're happy to help.
Peace.
Peace.